everybody. In this video, we're going to be looking at military vocabulary and military expressions. Now, this type of vocabulary is kind of interesting because in English will use a lot of terms or expressions or vocabulary from specific areas. Like, for example, one very common transition of vocabulary is from sports to business, right? Like business will use a lot of terminology from sports. Military expressions can be used, they are commonly used with people that like these type of expressions, but also, again, for business, for office, maybe even for school. So let's get into it. First, we're going to be looking at 8 expressions and commands. So the first one is roger that or copy that. Now, roger that or copy that means that you have understood or you have acknowledged something. So if you say, hey, I need you to finish the reports by 4 o'clock, and you say, roger that, copy that, that means that I understand, got it, you know? An example can be, can you send me the report by noon? Roger that or copy that, right? Which means, got it, I understand, I will do it, right? Okay, let's go with the second one. The second one is affirmative or negative. Affirmative or negative can be used as substitutes for yes or no. So if you say affirmative, it means yes. If you say negative, it means no, right? An example, will you be attending the meeting? Affirmative, right? So in this case, it means that I will go to the meeting. Yes, I will go to the meeting, right? Affirmative. Or negative, which would be in this case, no, right? All right, the third one, this one is often used in walkie-talkies, like when people are talking with walkie-talkies, and this one is over and out. Over and out means that the communication ended. So when you use walkie-talkies, if any of you have used walkie-talkies, you need to push the button and speak, and then you need to let go of the button so the other person can respond, right? So in order for the other person to know that you finished talking, you need to say over at the end, right? You say, whatever I want to say, I say it, over. And then the other person will respond, I'm responding to you, over, right? But over and out means that you finish talking, but you finish the conversation too, right? It means end of communication, end of conversation, over and out. So this can be used like to say goodbye to the people that you are with in the office or wherever. So you can say, okay, I'm heading to the next meeting, over and out, right? Which would mean like, goodbye, I'm leaving, right? Okay, now the fifth one is stand down. So stand down is like when in military strategies or in the army, when a person tells his army or her army, you need to stand down. You need to be aware, but don't do anything, right? Stand down. Or when you are fighting and you tell the people, your army, stand down, like stop, right? Basically, it's what it means. So it means to relax or stop the current action, right? You can use this in the example, you can stand down for now, the meeting is canceled, right? Or at ease. At ease is similar to stand down, which means like easy, like when people say easy there, easy, like relax, right? Like calm down. If someone is very angry, you can say easy now, easy, right? Like relax. So you can say the meeting is canceled at ease, right? So we don't have any more work to do, at ease, right? Okay, so boot camp. Number 6 is boot camp. This means an intensive training or introduction program. So typically when you start to work somewhere, you may need to go through boot camp, right? Now, boot camp obviously is very military. It only happens in the military, but the idea is that it's an intensive training, right? An intensive training or introduction program. For example, our new employees go through a rigorous boot camp, right? So boot camp is like training to be a soldier or training to be to start working in whatever profession you're gonna start working in, right? Okay, the next one, number 7, is on the double. On the double means quickly or immediately. So an example of this can be finish that report on the double, right? Like very quickly. We need you to finish that report on the double now, right? So if you do something on the double, it means that you do it very fast, very quickly, or you have to do it very fast or very quickly, right? Hit the ground running is the 8th one. This one's one of my favorite ones. Hit the ground running. Imagine if you're in the military and you're in a plane and you have to jump out of the plane, right? Because the area is guarded by people or something like that. So you jump out of the plane, and when you land in your parachute, right, you land on the ground, you hit the ground, right, you touch the ground, but you hit the ground running. This means that as soon as you hit the ground, you're running and you're going towards your target or towards wherever you need to go, right? So it means to start an activity energetically and effectively, right? For example, let's hit the ground running with this project, right? So if you have a big project you need to do and you need to start doing it now, you can say, let's hit the ground running, right? Like, let's start doing it right now and let's be good at it, right? Let's be efficient. Okay, so those were the 8 expressions and commands. And now I'm going to get into the vocabulary terms. Okay, with the vocabulary terms, the first one we have is AWOL. AWOL means absent without leave. So basically a person that is missing without permission, right? So you could ask, where is Thomas, right? And you could say, he went AWOL, right? Or he went AWOL after the meeting. So AWOL means absent without permission, right? Or without leave. MIA is kind of similar, except MIA, you may have seen it for the Vietnam veterans, MIA, POW. MIA means missing in action. So MIA is sometimes used like, where is Thomas? Oh, he's MIA, like he's missing in action, like we don't know, he's missing, right? And POW is a little bit more serious. Excuse me, POW means prisoner of war. So this is like the soldiers that didn't return home, right? And it's kind of like to honor them in the MIA POW or POW MIA, which are the soldiers that were probably killed or died being prisoners of war, or they were missing in action. They never recovered their bodies, sadly, right? Okay, so the second one is debrief. Debrief means to question someone after a mission or an event, right? Like, I need to debrief you. I need to explain what happened, right? So an example, let's debrief after the presentation to discuss what went well, right? So let's ask questions. Let me give you feedback, right? Debrief is kind of like this moment where you communicate all your concerns, you answer questions, right? Okay, the third one is deploy. Deploy, if you play any war games like Call of Duty, you may know deployment or deploy is when a soldier is sent into war, right? So to arrange strategically, you could say, for example, we need to deploy our resources more effectively. So we need to use this, we need to basically liberate it out, but in an effective way, right? We need to deploy, like we deploy soldiers, we deploy resources, right? Okay, the fourth one is recon, which is short for reconnaissance. And recon is a preliminary survey or exploration. So recon comes from receiving or acquiring communication or intelligence, right? So you could say, for example, we'll do a quick recon of the market before launching the product, right? So we'll do some questioning, some questionnaires we'll explore. We may do some surveys to investigate the market and what potential clients want or need, right? So we can provide a better service or a better product, right? In this case. Okay, the fifth one is gung-ho. Gung-ho. It's kind of weird. But gung-ho means that you're extremely enthusiastic about something and extremely dedicated, right? So an example is he's really gung-ho about the new project, right? So he's very excited. He's very motivated and enthusiastic to do this, right? Okay, number 6 is frontline. So frontline is like in Spanish saying en las trincheras, right? And this is the leading position. These are the people that are on the front line, right? There's a channel, I think, out there called Frontline, which is like a documentary channel that brings you information about like politics, politicians, and world events, right? For example, nurses are on the front line of the healthcare crisis, right? Or like they'll say teachers are at the front line of education, right? So these are the people, like the soldiers. The soldiers are on the front line of the war, right? And behind the people that are on the front line, you have all the other people, right? The generals, the administrators, the coordinators, the salespeople, like a lot of other people. But there are certain people that are on the front line, right? That show their face to the public or to the people that they're giving the service or the product, right? Okay, and the last one, the 7th one, is zero in. This one's also an interesting one. So zero in, you have to imagine that like you have a general perspective, and if you have to zero in, it means you have to like close up or like zoom in, right? We have to zero in. We have to focus intently on the goal or the target, right? For example, let's zero in on the main issue, right, during the meeting. So we have all these other things that we need to talk about. We need to talk about this, that, blah, blah, blah. But let's zero in on the main problem, right? Let's focus specifically on the main problem. It's basically what it means. All right, guys. So there you have it. Some military vocabulary and military expressions. Let me know if you know of any more in the comments. And that's all I got for this video. So I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye.